I've been learning a lot about what I'm like as a person, which is weirdly shocking and surprising and obvious and visible, and a lot easier to do when you periodically see yourself from the outside through someone else's eyes, and then sort of rejoin yourself with a clearer understanding in both directions multiple times a day. You learn a lot. I think maybe that should be, if you're prepared to look and face everything and you work really, really hard on being accepting and non-judgmental, which is not fucking easy, then you learn a lot. Otherwise you sort of close down and blow apart, and it takes ages to get things back on track. There's a lot of talking whenever we do break apart into two sort of more distinct shapes, and a lot of trying to understand, and a lot of journaling. And a lot of really radical acceptance. A lot of sort of gut punch moments of seeing yourself as if for the first time, or seeing something that you never even noticed or considered as a trait, or something that was there until you could see it. Through someone else, I guess. And then gaining understanding and acceptance of how it makes sense in someone else sort of brings you closer until you inverts and you feel it and see it from your perspective suddenly, but with more understanding, because you've spent a long time looking at it from the outside. It's hard, and it's weird, and I spend a lot of time in at least a part of me, the part of me that would have previously gone by the name Nightshade. It's very difficult to... It almost isn't something I want to do. Distinguish which part of me things would have been from. And it feels necessary and maybe helpful, as long as I don't work on keeping or holding that distinction, I guess. I think in passing, occasionally to notice which part I feel like I'm speaking more from might help. There's also a strange balance of... almost feels like other parts of me are hesitant and have to be reminded to step forwards and to share and take up the same space so that we're all equally present and talking. It's like our natural state seems to be divided right now, and it's a lot of constant work to make it more. Whole, joined. One thing I've noticed is that in the part of me that would be known as nightshade previously, I find it difficult to show or display a big reaction, a lot of emotion. I mean, largely, I was going to say I wouldn't feel those things, but I guess at some point I would have. It just became that I didn't. It feels like it's stupid, like displaying a lot of emotion or a strong reaction to something. I just think things like, this is too intense a response. Look how weird and cringy I'm being for having this much care about the X or Y topic or thing someone said or thing we've done. Like, it's so monumentally, cripplingly uncool to have a strong emotional response, like being proud of something we've done or congratulating a friend on something they've done with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and intense emotions are very challenging for me to integrate into me. I guess they feel unsafe. My interpretation of that is that they feel monumentally uncool. And like, I'm gonna be the strange party for caring that much about things. Which I can only assume means that big emotional responses have been chronically treated as inappropriate, or we've been taught through many sources to tone it down. That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I'm making a very solid effort to try and allow the half of me that has been known for longer as Kairi. I accept taking that name. For some reason it's important to people in this system. It sounds very cute to me. I'm working on incorporating a reframe of what I see that name to mean, and that it can include something that's darker and less more than just what I see it to be, I guess. That side of me, big on strong and intense displays of emotion, for encouraging other people, and for how things genuinely feel, how things are interpreted, for encouraging us because it's fun, because it feels better. Obviously very polarized. I suppose that would be one part of DID. That's been a very fun thing to work out compromise between. That is a time. We are currently the epitome of confidence and decisiveness in all actions because of it. I'm sure that with work that's going to get easier. We're both very uncomfortable, but neither one to the point of leaving the fusion, which is as good as it gets at first until things get a bit more familiar. Along with that super fun realization, we realized that in different ways we both set a precedent for how things we're going to say or do are to be taken. Usually the precedent we set is that things that are important to us are underwhelming and dismissively unimportant. And then we get upset and angry that things that are important to us are treated with an underwhelming amount of acknowledgement, if it happens. Or